Karen kept destroying my hedge with her car, so I built a steel barrier that crushed it. The first time Karen's SUV grazed my hedge, I thought it was an accident. A quick swerve, a misjudged turn into her driveway for drivable. I spent years cultivating that hedge, a lush green wall of arborvitae that shielded my modest home from the chaos of our suburban street. I waved it off, even laughed when she apologized with a half-hearted shrug. But then it happened again, and again. Each time, her tires chewed deeper into the foliage, leaving jagged scars. By the fifth incident, my patience was as shredded as my hedge. Karen didn't care. Her apologies grew flippant, her smirk bolder. "It's just a bush," she'd say, tossing her blonde hair, her SUV gleaming like a trophy of indifference. I tried talking. I knocked on her door, calmly explaining the hours I'd poured into that hedge pruning, watering, coaxing it to thrive. She rolled her eyes, said I was obsessed, and slammed the door. Neighbors noticed. Old Mrs. Delaney, who'd lived on our street for decades, whispered that Karen had always been trouble, ever since she moved in with her real estate signs and loud parties. But I didn't want gossip. I wanted my hedge back. The sixth time was deliberate. I saw her through my kitchen window, reversing her SUV with a careless swing, flattening a whole section. She didn't even glance at the damage. That night, I lay awake, fury simmering. I wasn't just fighting for a hedge anymore. It was about respect, about boundaries, about someone trampling what mattered to me without a second thought. I decided to act. I spent weeks planning. I wasn't rich, but I had savings and a friend who worked in construction. Together, we designed a barrier steel, sleek and unyielding, disguised as a decorative fence. It ran along the edge of my property, just inches from where Karen's driveway met mine. It wasn't cheap, and every bolt felt like a bet on justice. When it was done, it gleamed under the sun, a quiet promise of retribution. Karen didn't notice at first, but the next time she swung her SUV into her driveway, the crunch was deafening. Her bumper hit the steel, folding like paper. She stormed out, screaming, her face red as she pointed at the barrier. "What the hell is this?" she yelled. I stepped outside, calm as stone. "It's my property line," I said. "You kept hitting my hedge, so I protected it." Her eyes narrowed, and I saw something shift. Anger, yes, but also a flicker of respect, quickly buried. The neighborhood buzzed. Some cheered me on, like Mrs. Delaney, who brought me cookies and called it poetic justice. Others, like Tom, the HOA president, warned I'd gone too far. Karen filed complaints, called the city, even tried to sue. But the barrier was legal, built to code, and on my land. She couldn't touch it. For a week, it felt like victory. Then came the twist. One evening, a teenage girl knocked on my door. She was Karen's daughter, Lily, a quiet kid I'd barely noticed. Her eyes were red, her voice shaky. "My mom's not okay," she said. "She's been drinking more since the barrier. She's obsessed with beating you." Lily confessed Karen's life was unraveling: a divorce, a failing business, the SUV her last shred of pride. The hedge wasn't just a bush to her. It was a target for her rage. I stood there, stunned, my triumph souring. I'd seen Karen as a villain, but Lily's words painted her as human, broken and lashing out. The next morning, I found Karen's SUV rammed into the barrier again. Harder this time. The hood was mangled, the windshield cracked. She wasn't inside. Neighbors said she'd stumbled home, drunk, after the crash. I walked to her house, heart heavy, and saw her through the window, slumped on her couch, a bottle in hand. My hedge was safe, but at what cost? The barrier I'd built to protect my pride had crushed more than her carrot, had pushed her over an edge I hadn't seen. I didn't take the barrier down. It stood as a reminder, not of victory, but of how far anger can spiral. Karen moved away a month later, her house sold at a loss. Lily stayed with her dad across town. The neighborhood quieted, but the air felt heavier, like we'd all lost something. My hedge grew back, greener than ever, but every time I trimmed it, I thought of Karen's crumpled SUV, Lily's tearful eyes, and the fine line between justice and vengeance. What would you have done? Stood your ground or found another way to resolve the conflict?